Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything with
Mariano
and Pauline.
Hashtag Pauliano. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media, from Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media News Podcast. And I'm your host, Taejha.
And I'm Pauline.
And we got some kind of scary, new news to start out our show with.
I know.
Because I'd definitely be scared if this happened to me.
No, this would traumatize me.
I think it would traumatize anyone in their right mind, for sure.
Okay, so I'm one of those people. My mom, she always makes fun of me because she grew up in Hawaii, and so she's grown up like always being on the beach. And whenever we go to the beach, I love going to the beach. And whenever we go, I'm always like, yeah, I want to go to the beach. But everybody in my family always gets frustrated with me because if my feet cannot touch the ground,
you're freaking out.
Yes, like that's as far as I will go. And if I can't see my toes, like if it's like deep water and like one, I can't touch the sand, and two, I can't like look down and see my toes.
You don't know what's coming at you.
I'm too far out, and so I literally.
Well, you're pretty tall, honestly. So if you can't stand up still, like you're swimming now in the ocean, girl. Exactly. And I don't go swimming in the ocean. You never know what's coming at you.
I always am like just lounging on the side, sunbathing, or like I'll go like splash up to like my ankles.
I definitely go to Venice Beach, and I'm one of those girls that don't get in the water.
Yeah, like I'll just wear like a dress to the beach because I'm just like I'm not getting in the water.
I'm not even gonna get in the sand sometimes.
So, and the reason why is because, like you said, we don't know what's in the water. They're always discovering new things.
Yeah, and honestly speaking, the ocean is one of our own like parts of our own world. You know, like. That we know less about.
Yeah, we don't.
People know more. Scientists know more about space than they do about the ocean.
It's just weird, and like, there's things in there that are like huge and that are old. Like
they don't even know how deep the ocean goes.
Yes, exactly. So it's just scary, and so it really blows my mind when people do things like this. So, there was a viral video that went viral, and you can look it up on like Mashable and things like that. And it was in regards to a great white shark. Now, people think that it's a cool idea to go inside like underwater in like those cages or like those glass container case things, and submerge themselves, like dive down in these cages in like shark infested water. And to get up close, whether it's to get pictures of them or to like, sometimes people like feed them. Like if people do these with alligators and stuff, like I don't get it.
Alligators and sharks are the two main animals that will eat anything and everything. Yeah. And for sure, alligators eat sharks.
Sharks eat alligators. Like
hippos eat alligators.
Hippos are wild.
Hippos will chase you. They
saw
don't
a hippo
play.
At the zoo, and
don't mess with huge. The hippos.
Yeah, they're
any means.
And I don't think that people understand. Like, okay, I love going to the zoo, and one of my favorite zoos is the LA Zoo, and I love the LA Zoo, and I've been to the San Diego Zoo, but the San Diego Zoo has a hippo and like this huge enclosure, and it weighs like so many amount of tons, and it's huge. And I don't think that people realize, and that's one thing that I like about the LA Zoo and the San Diego Zoo, but more so the LA Zoo, because you can get kind of close to the animals, and so you can really see them,
especially
in all
like
their
the chimpanzee
massive glory.
LA Zoo.
And so you don't realize, because when you're watching TV and things like that, how big these animals can get. And if these animals are huge and they're zoo animals, they're not actually in the wild,
the wildlife ones.
And so
these aren't animals or any type of anything that you should be messing with at all.
Right.
Honestly,
Yes.
don't poke the bear.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah, right. Okay, so this video went viral because a diver was submerged underwater and in one of those like diving cages that they go in to go look at.
And mind you, those diving cages are supposed to be, air quotes, safe. Like you're
Yes.
supposed to be able to go in the diving cage, have your experience with the shark,
Right.
but the shark never be able to get in contact with you because,
Yes.
mind you, you're all supposed to be. Usually, sometimes they're in protective gear and some means.
Right, like in that diver
just in
suit.
case if the shark gets
Sure.
a little close.
Sure.
If someone was, not smart and they stuck their hand
Yeah,
out
yeah,
of the
yeah.
cage. But the shark should not be able to get into the cage.
Right. But like we always talk about, stuff happens.
Human error, cage error.
A shark broke this cage
Yeah.
and got in there. And that's what I'm always worried about. That sometimes, like, I mean, these are how great whites are so huge and like the amount of force and mass. And if they're trying to attack you or you're irritating them, agitating them, and they're retaliating, the strength, that these
Sharks
animals
give.
Yeah. And
Is
so
massive.
it broke through the cage and
Mind you, it broke through the cage trying to get a tuna bait.
yeah,
some
some tuna.
So my thing was, why would I understand maybe they might have had the tuna to get the shark to come in the vicinity
Right.
in general. But after the fact, if the shark's already around, why are you still antagonizing it with food that it can't receive?
Right. I would have just threw it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would never know what the proper way to do this is because I don't plan on ever experiencing this.
True.
So he broke through the cage, and of course that's going to freak you out because you have this, now there is no barrier between you and nature. And I mean, not that you could tame a shark, but it's untamed and it's
You can't
literally
tame a shark.
wild, like it's just full on instinct,
And mind you, sharks, it's going to continue moving. It's never going to stop trying to come
you're
at
in
you.
its habitat.
Yeah.
Like you're underwater.
And because mind you, sharks, they have to move to breathe.
Right.
So if you are around a shark, it's never going to just stop moving around you. You're going to continuously be scared trying to dodge the shark,
And
but
then
the
you
shark's
have
going
to-
to trying to continuously dodge and get
I was going to
you.
say, and then you're freaking out.
You're freaking
the
out
animals
because-
freaking out. Everybody's
yeah,
freaking
and
out.
and if you stop moving, it's just going to attack you because the shark is never going to stop moving.
Right.
It has to move to breathe, literally.
So luckily, the shark, the diver was unharmed.
Yeah.
Luckily, and except for probably scared for forever, which I would hope. But the shark did kind of get like a few injuries because like it was in the cage and had to get out of the cage. So it was stuck. It was trapped, basically. Essentially, it was trapped, and then it had to get out. So you can definitely see this video. It's on Mashable, and it's kind of scary. It's not really something that I personally would ever try or encourage anyone else to try, but of course people do it, and I'm sure you assume the risk of it getting through when this happens. Luckily, like I said, the diver didn't sustain any injuries, just the shark, but I'm sure the shark will recover. And so that's that. I mean, I don't know.
It makes you wonder though, they must have had some type of safety precaution in some means, in some way. And this must have happened before for them to be able to get the guy out so safely, and the shark only sustained injuries because it's like, how exactly did they get this guy out of there when the shark is now in here to attack him?
Yeah, all the protocols that they go through.
So even though it's a very unsafe situation that you're potentially putting yourself into,
right?
But at the same time, at least they did have some type of precautions that this guy had no injuries at all, other than just going to be mortified for the rest of his life. And for all we know, maybe he thought it was the coolest thing ever. If
True.
He is like an adrenaline
junkie,
and he wanted that rush. But at the same time, it's just like, this is something that will really traumatize people, and they do this in various countries and places that they allow you to do shark dives. But I don't know if it's something that I would particularly involve myself in at all, especially when now and today, the closer that the water is getting to the shore, sharks are coming closer to the shores on their own, regardless.
Right.
So I don't think that it's 100% smart to put sharks around people and think that this is a normal habitat, unless you're making them seem more normal, and so they won't
I don't know.
disturb the people. At the same time, it's still
too risky.
Yeah, very risky, very unsafe.
Yeah. Too risky.
Just this cage is not enough
I'm
shield
saying.
for me.
I freak out.
and
You know
that
those
shark
walk
underwater.
through aquariums, like where you can walk through and like
And it's like above
the
you
tank
and
is
around
like
you.
yeah, those freak me. I run through, and my mom's always like, "Enjoy nature."
No,
and
but
I'm
I think
like,
that's
no.
cool though. That is
No.
cool because you're not really inside of it.
But imagine one little crack, all that pressure from all that water.
Oh,
No.
see, you're thinking about it that way.
I mean, I can swim. I know how to swim. However, I don't know how to swim when there's a whale shark next to me.
I
know
how to swim
but they have
in
like the
a
tiger
pool.
sharks, right? You know, and then there's like little dories swimming by me. No. I'm freaking out, and I'm gonna be like, "Where's my nephew?" And I'm gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, my poor nephew!
Yeah.
He doesn't have a life vest on."
I would definitely lose
and
my
they're gonna
breath. I wouldn't be able to
flopping
breathe.
around on the deck and everything, and I'm gonna be like,
Just keep swimming.
yeah, you know, and I'm going to be worried about stepping on one, and then I don't know how to get out, and
I'm
be
not gonna worry about
soaking,
stepping on
and I don't know
anything.
how warm or cold that water is.
Probably
and then
cold.
people are going to be screaming. No, I don't need those problems. So I always think about that.
You guys should see Pauline's
we go
face.
through, and like they have like stingrays in there, and like so no, it's not my thing. And so I always go through those little walk-through aquariums quite quickly. I think that
I've honestly
they're-
never been to an aquarium.
I mean, they're cool because I think like I love like I had a fish tank not growing up, but when I was in college, I had a really cool fish tank and I loved it and everything. But
I agree with you though,
they're
because
small, little, tiny
just
fish.
imagine if that aquarium also had a shark in there too, like a great shark, and then next thing you
And
know,
it
something
bursts.
just burst and breaks.
I mean,
and
I know that science
everybody's
is
going
very
down.
advanced and that they monitor it and check it all the time. However,
error happens.
Yes. So with that, we're going to cut it to a quick break. And when we come back, we want to discuss some MacBook news as well as Twitter's take. Yeah, go ahead.
Some new Willy Wonka.
Some Willy Wonka news and how Twitter is taking this news. So we'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch, whatever it may be.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concept Social Media News Podcast. And we got some, new unveiling news for you guys with this new MacBook from Apple. And it's been a disappointment to some people, and some people just honestly like new technology regardless.
Right.
Apple happened to come out with their new 13-inch MacBook Air in April of this year as well.
Right.
But since people didn't necessarily like the update because it didn't do anything.
It wasn't really that big of a deal. There wasn't any really new features or anything worthwhile to constitute an update.
In my opinion, it seemed more like you updating your phone. When you just get a new iOS update versus an actual you wanting to purchase a whole new product. Exactly. Right. So it's rumored to come out with their new MacBook as well on the 27th of this month, October 27th.
They're having a launch event.
Yes.
So where they're going to be displaying some other products and things like that. So people are wondering if, because there's been rumors that there's going to be a MacBook update. And so they're wondering if, at this launch on October 27th, if there will actually be if they're going to unveil what the new update will consist of.
And the new update wouldn't even come out until 2017.
Right.
Correct?
So we're still going to have to wait, most likely wait for it regardless. But we're just hoping that there will be an unveiling and kind of like letting us know what we can expect, because they're looking into perhaps having just changes, not just to like the RAM, but to the actual book itself. And so kind of like getting that retina display, which will be really nice, and updating some of the new features and the design. I know that Apple has been kind of discussing and in talks, and there's been lots of rumors of it phasing out the MacBook Air, that line. And so I don't know if this will be, and that's kind of like what the anticipation swirling around this is that going to be the end of the Air era? And are we gonna get something new, or are they gonna properly update it to the fans' desire?
Because people are really wanting the whole more upgraded retina displays for their computer as well, and that just makes you wonder, with all the other competition that's going on with Apple, are they going to make their computers all more touchscreen? Are they going to, as well, since they might be either eliminating the Air or revamping it and going farther with it, are they going to make all of their computers and laptops all skinnier and smaller now? Are they going to, that just raises a lot of question for all of the compatibilities that you're able to use on your laptop. So are you going to have a disk drive? Are you going to be able to charge your ports? Like all these different compatibilities that go with that MacBook itself, that's just going to raise a lot of questions for people. And since the previous update wasn't pretty much an update at all, it was just literally software update versus a computer update itself, that's going to just, people are going to want a lot more involvement with these computers, especially because with the competition going around, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that have MacBooks want their book to be able to flip backwards in some means and use it standing up. How compatibility, how HPs are. Are they going to now, even though they already have the tablet and you can have your keyboard, are they going to add a laptop that has the accessibility to be able to be taken apart and used the same way? So it just raises a lot of questions for new technology to potentially be able to come out as well.
And everybody, I have Apple products as far as like I have iPad and I have an iPhone, but I don't have a MacBook, and which I may or may not be missing out on something. I don't know, because like I said, I've never had a MacBook, so I wouldn't know. But I do know from like the phones and iPads and things like that, that very rare, like there are certain updates and additives that they add to the models and things like that, making them slimmer or lighter, and so that they aren't as heavy. And then now with the iPhone Plus situation, so you can get a bigger screen and things like that. I don't know, because sometimes like I will be like really behind in my models. Like I just have like an iPhone 6 right now. Like it's not a Plus, it's not an S or anything like that, because like you said, with the software update, it's usually fine, and then until eventually it poops out on you because they force you to get the new model. Like recently, my grandma, 3 models in,
she has an iPhone 5C, but she recently had to get a newer one because of the update.
That's my conspiracy theory. That is.
But like you said, I have a 6S as well, and it didn't. There's no change in why I would need to change my phone to the 7, other than the simple fact that I would want the little, water resistant features, and
just to say
making
that I have
it more difficult to be able to listen to my music and charge my phone if I wanted to do that to myself. But at the same time, like other people were saying with the MacBook, there wasn't any.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they did that and called it an update. And it was just like you said, it wasn't really anything to the model itself. So like I get that, and it doesn't. Seems true Apple product. That's just the way that they go. And honestly, I feel like they should be taking a little bit more pointers from Microsoft, because Microsoft
they are billionaires, like Bill Gates himself, in regards to the money.
She's treading on shallow water, I see.
Well, just because
all the Apple fans are going to come for you.
In regards to their, like, I'm an Apple fan as well as Google, Microsoft. Like, I don't have a preference
I'm
necessarily. I might use Chrome for my internet. I might use Safari. It doesn't necessarily matter to me in that means. But what matters to me personally is my checkbook and my finances, and the simple fact that
Go ahead. I'm
Microsoft
sorry.
is able to do some of the same things or even better that you're still able to receive on MacBooks, and you're still not able to get all of the features. What I personally accept and love about MacBooks is that they do install specific types of programs, like, you know, auto tunes and certain
other
studio softwares that you wouldn't just be able to access on a Microsoft computer.
Right.
But at the same time, Apple makes it very hard for the wide range of people to access their products.
Gotcha.
While I think Microsoft makes it easier for everybody to access their products and information. And it's not just to the prestige and luxury people who want to spend all the money. Because in itself, Apple, you just released some new earphones for your 7. But you don't give the earphones to the people that buy the 7. They have to go out and buy the earphones themselves.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think they're money hungry always. And people are
Money
always
is the
going to buy.
motive.
People are always going to buy new products. The simple fact that MacBook Air came out with its previous update, but it wasn't an update other than the power booster and them adding a rose gold color. A lot of people went out and bought that rose gold laptop, for sure, and that was their only reason of why they wanted it, was because it was the color. I know I got my 6S, honestly, well, because my 6th screen was cracked, but the 6S came in rose gold, so I bought it. It's just all about the necessities. It's kind of like, you know, cars can honestly all do the same things, but you buy a car because of its specific special features that it gives you.
Right. And so we're going to kind of do a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to discuss why everyone is in an uproar over Willy Wonka. So leave it like right here. You're listening to the Golden State Media Concept Social Media News Podcast. We will be right back.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concept Social Media News Podcast. And my lovely co-host Pauline let you guys know about how social media is kind of going in an uproar about the potential new remake of the Willy Wonka movie. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
And so so if you haven't heard, it's been recently announced that Warner Brothers, in conjunction with producer David Hyman, who did Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, as well as the Harry Potter franchise, they've teamed up to do a prequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So it's basically like exploring Willy Wonka before we get to our beloved story of him and Charlie at the Willy Wonka factory and the golden ticket and everything that we love and are familiar about with Willy Wonka. So it's more of like what led up to it in his life. So how
he got his factory,
acquired the factory, I'm sure.
Because in the original movie, the factory was closed for a while,
getting ready
and that's why he opened up the golden ticket for people, so that he was able to
it off to Charlie.
So people could come in.
Done. Yeah, he's older, so he's like passing the torch to Charlie.
But some people are going back with this and being like, is this 2005 again? Since they already remade Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp. But this isn't going to be a remake. It's going to be a prequel.
whole different
It's going to be a whole different story. And
Right.
I honestly, just for my childhood, because Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, actually watching the original, I watched
Right.
that in elementary school, and then watching Johnny Depp's remake with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's I believe that's what it was actually called, because they changed the name of it a little bit. That one was a completely different type of movie, honestly, even though it had the same story line and the same settings.
Tim Burton.
But the temper, the tone, everything was changed in that movie. It was complete comedy versus,
Right.
you know, a little more
Johnny Depp
informational and kid friendly. Which I enjoyed. I love the Johnny Depp version of it, the way they added the futuristic tunes to it as well, with the elevator changes, and, you know, Johnny Depp running into the elevator because he couldn't see it because it was a glass window. So I think it's definitely going to be a good thing for them to revisit it and make more information about it, especially for people our age, the millennials. I'm 23. They are coming out with a lot of remakes of our childhood movies. We previously talked about Lion King as well as Mulan. So I don't think that it would be a bad thing for them to remake this. There's going to be people who are definitely going to want to see it with their younger siblings, as well as people my age that already have their own children, as well as just going with your friends and your family. It's definitely going to be something, because I want to know, I would want to know how Willy Wonka got to be Willy Wonka. Yeah. What made him decide, okay, we got to have these kids come.
Right.
This is what's going to happen. How did he design the rooms? Where did he find the Oompa Loompas?
Oh, yeah.
How did he get all the geese in his factory to lay the big eggs?
Right.
There's just a lot of...
Taejha loves this story.
I'm just like
She's
seeing
excited
it
for
now.
this.
I'm just like, how did he make the machine that made the special gum?
Right.
You know, there's just a lot of...
How cute.
There's just a lot of things that you can find out and wonder
A prequel,
about Willy Wonka.
It's so...
it's a big factory.
Well, Taejha is definitely hyped up for this.
Dude, imagine how he made that, you know, candy wallpaper.
So, see, you're reminding me about a bunch of stuff that I even forgot.
You know,
was in
like,
the
dude,
movie.
let me go drink some soda, and I'm floating.
So, I'm floating. So
I watched that movie a lot, honestly.
I think, so some people, like you said, are kind of over it and think that they just should leave the story alone and that we don't need a prequel. And but the other side that a lot of people were tweeting about when they were being so upset about this idea is they think it's too soon, because they so Gene Wilder, the original Willy Wonka, he has just passed away this past August. I believe it was August 29th, actually, so quite recently still. And they think that it's too early for that, and they also think that a lot of die-hard Gene Wilder fans, Willy Wonka fans, you know, who think that that Johnny Depp just messed it all up, are saying, like, did we not learn, you know,
the first time by changing the character,
redoing it with Johnny Depp, that we are tainting a classic? But then
that's why I think people need to realize, so that's what I was saying before, is Johnny Depp's version is a completely different
concept.
Situation, concept, everything.
And so, but then I know that the idea too, that since it is just a prequel, and so it's not necessarily a remake of the movie itself, it's a prequel that, you know, it kind of explores a different idea, which I think is kind of cool.
Yes.
And seeing how you said, how did he get those geese?
And the fact that it's a prequel, it's showing his life before Willy Wonka, it's able to bring in and portray a younger, but it's able to bring in a younger character. It's able to show that the original guy isn't going to be able to be him because he's younger in this time.
I'm hoping.
I understand the fans, you know,
sentiment.
In regards to the fact that it's too soon because he did just recently die, passed not too long ago. But I think that's what the producers are trying to show.
Keep him alive.
Exactly.
Immortalize
Keep him his situation. Exactly. People make a lot more money in their death sometimes than they do in their life. Yeah. Like Michael Jackson made the most money. He made over $800 billion this year. He made the most money in 2016 than anybody that was alive. So I think that's what they're trying to do with him in a certain way. But I do wonder if this was already in the works before he died. If he had any type of input, anything.
They did just acquire the rights. So Warner Brothers did just recently acquire the rights. And so that's kind of why they're wanting to do this. I do know that, and you did mention about the fact that the other one was more adult-ish.
Yes.
And it was produced by Tim Burton, so that kind of has to go with that theme as to why it did seem a little bit more adult.
Yeah, it was more like informational, adult,
and
like your right and wrongs.
Yeah. And so this one is going to be written by the man writing the script is going to be Simon Rich, and he did Secret Life of Pets. So I would assume, based off that and based off like the producer of Harry Potter that we just said as well, that it will be a little bit more kid friendly than the one with Johnny Depp. And just because these gentlemen and like some of the producers that are involved are more into the not the childhood fantasy, but the younger fantasy, and appealing to the younger crowd. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It is going to have, I'm sure, a lot of fantasy in it because, like Harry Potter has a lot to do with fantasy and make believe, and just
that's
the
why I was saying
idea of Willy Wonka is
more
fantasy.
In tune with the rooms that Wonka used, because they do say the film will reveal Wonka's early adventures. It'll be a standalone film. It won't necessarily be an original tale that goes on into Wonka inviting the other people, unless the franchise takes, a booming hit, and then they're able to necessarily go along with that storyline of how Willy met Charlie. But this situation literally seems like it's going to be about Willy Wonka's start and how he honestly started his factory, and hopefully we can even find like where he found the factory, why he chose that place to be his factory, why was it in the specific city it was in, where the literal backstory of who Willy Wonka is himself, right? Because when you watch the original movie, it does show a little backstory of Charlie, so hopefully we can get that information about Willy.
So Taejha's
Charlie
looking forward to it.
I think it would be cool.
There hasn't been any date or any word as of yet on an exact release date, so we'll have to keep a lookout for that. Hopefully, I would assume it would be if not late 2017, then early 2018. I'm not sure. It just depends on. They haven't even really talked about, or there hasn't been any word on any of the cast yet either, so that's gonna be, they just, like I said, locked down those rights to this entire story and concept. So now that it's been approved and ready to roll, I'm sure we'll hear some more information about this soon. So but with that, we are gonna have to wrap up this episode. So you can find us on our network website, that's gsmcpodcast.com, as well as on iTunes, Google Play,
Stitcher,
SoundCloud, Facebook, iTunes,
and Twitter.
Well, I did say iTunes already. I don't know why iTunes is stuck in my head, but
because iTunes is like the most easiest way to
talking
find
about
us.
Apple, and
you already got your Apple phone. Just click on that podcast app right
We're
there.
We're everywhere. So I'm Pauline,
and I'm Taejha,
and we'll talk to you guys next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.